Dear friends, I am Professor Satish Prakash Shukla. I welcome you all again to this YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss about 20 new MCQs which are based on Research Aptitude with their answers. Friends, you remember here that most of the questions which are included in this video have been asked in different competitive examinations, so take care while listening. And moreover, this is fourth video in English that is based on Research Aptitude. Let us start with first question of this video. Question number 61, first of this. For which of the following survey research method cannot be used? To study the awareness of the youth towards values, to study the expectation of the parents from their children, to study the impact of value awareness program on value awareness of the youth, to study the job satisfaction of the teachers. Friends, survey research method cannot be used. It is asked here, and in survey generally cause and effect relationship between independent and dependent variable is not established or not checked. Here in option number 3 it is given that to study the impact of value awareness program on the value awareness of the youth, in which value awareness program is treatment variable and value awareness is dependent variable. By conducting research on this subject, actually researcher wants to know if there is any cause and effect relationship between awareness program and value awareness or not. So that can be done only with experimental research, and remaining 3 subjects which are given here can be done through survey research, because survey research attempt to know the prevailing situation, existing situation. So in option number 1, 2 and 4, the subjects which are given tend to find out the existing situation. So option number 3 is correct option. This cannot be done through survey research. For that we have to apply experimental research. Question number 62. If the data are collected from the people through questionnaire, having open-ended questions to know their opinions towards the behaviors of the government employees with the people, then which type of data analysis will be done? Let us see the options. Number 1, content analysis. Number 2, statistical analysis. Number 3, non-parametric test is to be applied or not. Number 4, parametric test. Friends, here the questionnaire is there with question having open-ended questions. So the descriptive answer will be there. So the descriptive answers will be a kind of communication material, and communication analysis of communication material is done through content analysis. So option number 1st is correct. Content analysis will be done because the descriptive response will be got from the respondents. Question number 63. If all the points of scatter diagram lie on the same straight line, then which type of correlation will be there? All the points of scatter diagram lie on the same straight line. Let us see the options: positive or negative, perfect positive or perfect negative, perfect positive, perfect negative. It is said that the points of scatter diagram lie on the same straight line, but which type of the line is there, it is not said. And if this situation is there, if all the points are lying on the same straight line in scatter diagram, then there will be either perfect positive or perfect negative correlation will be there. So option number 2 is correct, and 2 types of the lines can be obtained like this. First scatter diagram shows the perfect negative correlation where all the points are lying on the same straight line. The line is going lower right from upper left, and in second diagram all the points are lying on the same straight line, and the line is going upper right from the lower left. So that is the example of perfect positive. These 2 only situation will be there in terms of the situation that is given here in the questions. If all the points of scatter diagram lie on the same straight line, then there will be either perfect positive or perfect negative. Option number 2 is correct. 64. If values of both correlated variables have been in continuous series and both are made dichotomous by taking some base, then which type of correlation is found between them? Two variables are there, both are continuous and both are divided in two parts. So which kind of the correlation can be found between such two variables? Phi correlation, number 2 biserial correlation, number 3 product moment method, number 4 tetrachoric. So friends, in the given situation, the correlation coefficient between such two variables which are divided in two parts by taking some base, then tetrachoric correlation coefficient will be found. Option number 4 is correct. If naturally divided variables are taken, if the variables, both the variables are can be divided in two parts naturally, then instead of tetrachoric we have to use phi correlation. Here the correct option is tetrachoric. 65. Which type of relationship will be there between correlation coefficients found by point biserial and product moment method between RPBs and R? RPBs means correlation coefficient by point biserial method, and R means correlation coefficient by product moment methods. Which type of the relationship is there if for the same data the correlation coefficient is found by applying both the methods? Number 1, R by point biserial method is equal to R by product moment method. RPB is smaller than R. RPB is greater than R. Nothing can be said. Friends, here when the same data is there and correlation coefficient is found by applying two different methods like point biserial and product moment method, then the value of correlation coefficient by both the methods will be the same. So option number 1 is correct. RPB is equals to R. 66. Which method of correlation is applied to find correlation coefficient between educational achievement and area of the students of grade 11 who are studying in the schools of rural and urban areas? Correlation coefficient is to be found here between educational achievement and area of the students of grade 11 who are residing in rural and urban area. So correlation coefficient between area and achievement is to be found. Let us see which type of the correlation coefficient will be found here. Number 1 is given point biserial, second is given biserial, third is tetrachoric, and fourth is phi. Friends, when out of two correlated variables, one variable is continuous and another is dichotomous and it is divided naturally in two parts, then point biserial correlation coefficient is to be found. So here the option number 1 is correct, point biserial. Here educational achievement is continuous variable and the data will be obtained for educational achievement in interval scale, and area, rural and urban, it is divided naturally in two parts and it is in nominal scale. If this situation will be there, then point biserial correlation coefficient will be found between such two variables in which one is continuous and one is nominal, but it is divided into two parts naturally. 67. Which method of correlation is applied to find correlation coefficient if the values of both the variables are divided naturally into two parts? Pearson, number 1, number 2, Spearman, number 3, tetrachoric, number 4, phi. About tetrachoric we have seen earlier, and Pearson correlation coefficient can be found if both the variables are continuous type And Spearman can be found only if the data are obtained in ranks. But here it is said two variables are there and both are divided in two parts naturally. So both are dichotomous, it means both are nominal. And if both are divided naturally into two parts, then phi correlation coefficient will be found. So option number 4 is correct. 68. Which are two approaches of conducting research through causal comparative? Ex post facto method. Ex post facto method is also known as causal comparative, and two approaches are there to apply this method. Which are those two? Let us see. Retrospective and similarity. Number 2, prospective and dissimilarity. Number 3, similarity and dissimilarity. Number 4, retrospective and prospective. So the correct answer for this is option number 4. Retrospective and prospective are two approaches for conducting research by applying ex post facto design or causal comparative research method. So option 4 is correct. Question number 69. By which approach of causal comparative method research starts with dependent variable and ends with independent variable? Let us see the options. Number 1, prospective. Number 2, retrospective. Number 3, pre-prospective. Number 4, 1 and 2. Friends, pre-prospective approach is not there. Only two approaches are here, prospective and retrospective. And here it is said that research starts with dependent variable. It means, first of all, such a dependent variable is found out that in which the variation in terms of measurement of variable characteristics variation is seen. Then after that, the reason for that variation is found out, and that reason means independent variable. It happens with retrospective approach of causal comparative method, means ex post facto research design. In that retrospective approach is there. In that research starts with dependent variable and ends with independent variable. Question number 70. Which research method should be applied to check the effect of marital status, married or unmarried, of female government employees on their social adjustment? Let us see the option: survey, causal comparative, experimental, and correlation. Here we have to see the impact of marital status on social adjustment. So survey cannot be done. When we see the impact of some variable on another variable, then we are going to check the cause and effect relationship, and it is not checked by survey method. Experimental research cannot be done here because we can't make some women marry and make some women remain unmarried. We can't do that. So experimental is also not possible. Correlation is not possible here because we have to check the impact. We don't have to check the strength and direction of the relationship. So correlation is also cannot be done. So here we have to apply ex post facto research design, that is called causal comparative. So option number 2 is correct. Question 71. Content analysis of which of the following is done? Content analysis is a kind of data analysis technique and also research design or research method. Content analysis can be considered as research method also. What can be analyzed by content analysis method? Number 1, any communication material, books and letters, books and statues, books, letters, and statues. These all are the communication material, but specific materials are given in 2, 3, and 4. But here it is open in question option number 1, any communication material. In that, all the options given in 2, 3, and 4 are included. So we can say any communication material can be analyzed by content analysis method. 72. Which type of the meaning of the verbal content are taught in content analysis? We know that communication material is analyzed by content analysis method, and we have to derive some meaning from the verbal content if it is given. then which type of the which type of the meanings of the verbal content can be derived? Let us see: latent and ambiguous. Number two, manifest and ambiguous. Number three, manifest and latent. And number four, latent and ambiguous. So correct option is manifest and latent. Manifest and latent meanings of the verbal content is thought out in content analysis. Question 73. Which type of relation is there between reference units and recording units in terms of content analysis? Two types of the units of analysis are considered in the content analysis, which are known as reference units and recording units. Let us see what are the options. Recording units means reference units. Number two, reference units are derived from recording units. Number three, recording units are derived from reference units. Number four, both are different from each other. So correct option is option number three. Actually, recording units are derived from reference units. First of all, the reference units are found. Then from that, the recording units are derived and recording units are analyzed in content analysis. Question number 74. Which is the main objective of case study? Case study. Number one, study of current situation of the subject means case. Number two, study of interrelationship of the factors affecting the subject. To diagnose the weaknesses of the subject. Number four, to do remedial work to remove the weaknesses of the subjects. All the four things are done in case study, but the main objective of case study is to study the interrelationship of the factors affecting the subjects. How the interrelation of the factors affect the subject. That is the main motto of any case study. So option number two, study of the interrelationship of the factors affecting the subject. Question number 75. Which of the following is true in terms of the case study? What is true? Findings are generalized. Results cannot be generalized. In some cases, findings can be generalized. Findings are derived from statistical data. It is not possible always, but findings are generally not generalized. Results cannot be generalized. It is also not true. It is also false. In some cases, option number three, in some cases, findings can be generalized. In some cases, findings of the case study can be generalized. So correct option is option number three. 76. Findings derived by which approach of case study can be generalized? This question is related with the previous one. Findings derived by which approach of case study can be generalized? Two approaches are for two approaches are there for conducting case study. One is nomothetic, another is ideographic. Cohort is not an approach of case study, and trend is also not an approach of case study. Out of these two, we have to select uh, case study is done by which approach, then we can generalize the findings. The correct option is nomothetic. 77. Which are the characteristics of case study? Number one, study of any one person, group, community, event, object, or institute is done by this method. This is true. Only the qualitative data are collected in this method. It is false. Findings of any study done by this method can be generalized. It is also false, that we have seen. This is a typical descriptive method of research. It is true. Remedial work is done in case study. That is very much important step of case study, that remedial work is suggested and it is done. Let us see the options: 1, 4, 5, 1, 2, 5, 2, 4, 5. And as we have seen, the correct option is 1, 4, 5. Study of any one person, group, community, events, object, or institute is done by this method. This is a typical descriptive method of research. Remedial work is done in case study. It is true. Question 78. Which method of research is used to study the changes found in the variable characteristics of the subjects due to passage of time? With the time passes, if any variable characteristics is affected, then to study that effect, which method of research should be applied? Let us see. Descriptive, number 2 developmental, number 3 survey, number 4 experimental. Friends, here with the passage of time means we want to check the impact of the time period. Then we have to conduct developmental research method. We have to apply developmental research method. So we have to conduct the research by this method. Option 2 is correct. Question 79. In which type of longitudinal research method population and sample are not changed? Population and sample are not changed. There are different methods of defining population in longitudinal research method. Let us see. Number 1 panel, number 2 trend, number 3 cohort, number 4 A and B both. The longitudinal research method, population and sample both are not changed. Population, the definition of population remain the same, but the subjects may change in some cases in longitudinal research. But here it is said the population and sample both are not changed. So which method is there in longitudinal research method? So it is panel. In panel, population and sample both remain unchanged. Question 28. In which type of developmental research method effect of the situation that is changed due to passage of time cannot be known? Cannot be known. We have seen in earlier question that impact of the time period may be checked by longitudinal method if we apply uh, longitudinal method in developmental research method. But here it is said in developmental research method, effect of the situation that is changed due to passage of time cannot be known. So two approaches are there, developmental method, cross-sectional and longitudinal. About longitudinal we have seen earlier in previous question. In longitudinal method, the impact of changing time can be seen on the variable characteristics, but another approach is also there. Let us see the options. Number 1 longitudinal, number 2 ideographic, number 3 cross-sectional, and number 4 nomothetic. Friends, ideographic and nomothetic are the approaches of case study. Here now longitudinal and cross-sectional is there. So in cross-sectional, the effect of the situation that is changed due to the passage of time cannot be checked, because at the same time period the sample is selected and data is collected only once. So the impact of change in the situation due to time period cannot be checked if the developmental research is conducted by applying cross-sectional approach. Friends, here the video number 4 gets over. Fifth will be presented as early as possible. Till then, keep on studying supplementary literature. Thank you. Goodbye.